In the words of Maya Angelou, my mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. In my segment, I'd like to take you on a journey to discover all the fun and exciting things we're missing in our day-to-day living. Welcome to Life with Style, and I'm your host, Shannon Yang. April is almost upon us, and here we have an important holiday coming up, the Qing Ming Festival, which literally translates as clean and bright in Chinese. And it falls on April the 5th this year. And today, I'm gladly invited Glenn from Palm Eastern to be on the show, and we can talk all about Qing Ming Festival here. As we just talked about it earlier, which was really fun.
Yes, thanks for having me here.
Of course. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yes.
So Glenn, tell me a little bit more about your place and your business.
Well, Palm Mortuaries and Cemeteries have been around since 1926. Palm Eastern especially, where I'm officed at. It's our largest property, and we're very honored to be able to serve many cultures and many families in Las Vegas. In the last few years, we have focused on serving the Asian community with building Asian-themed properties and doing events that will honor the traditions of the Asian community. And Qing Ming is just one of them that we feel really ties families to the cemetery to honor their loved ones.
Right.
During this very special time for them to get together.
You know, what's fun about Qing Ming Festival is, you know, in general, it talks about people sweeping the tomb. I know a lot of people call it the Tomb Sweeping Festival. But in reality, you know, we don't just sweep off the tombs. It's really just a way to pay the respect to ancestors and to talk about, you know, it's like a day of remembrance, you know, of the people who passed away from us. Because, you know, Chinese is all about families. So everything, you know, that's important. All the important holidays you can think of, like Spring Festival, you know, like the Zhongqiu, the Mid-Autumn Festival, you know, it's all about families. And so the Qing Ming Festival like ranks right up there with the Mid-Autumn Festival, which is also a pretty big holiday there. And you also have something in the store for all the Chinese people there out there too.
We do. For that day especially, and our event will be on April 3rd. It just worked out better with everybody's calendars. But we're going to start in the morning with the Vietnamese Lions Club is doing a service project, and they're going to come out to one of our sections and service and clean and sweep and brighten up the headstones and tombs, probably some of those ancestors that don't get visits that often. And then we'll segue in to the Qing Ming Festival at 10 o'clock on that day with the monks and the different services and so forth that are traditions that will tie the families to the generations in honoring their ancestors.
That's really nice because usually during the Qing Ming Festival, it's usually like a season where everything becomes bright and green and all the lives start coming back because after a brutal winter, you know?
Yes.
And everybody feel like, oh, it's so cold and brutal, and finally it's springtime. So everybody wants to come out. So it's actually a day also for like appreciate the new weather coming in, and it's like the nicest weather before the brutal summer jumps in again.
Right.
So a lot of families will take their kids to go out and play kites, you know, and they will have all these outings going. So I think it's also a very nice activities for all the families to come out there that day to celebrate this time.
Correct.
As well.
While we'll have the traditional monks there doing the prayers and the dharmas and allow you to place your loved one's name on the memory wall.
Yes.
And we'll have Bao where the families can burn the ceremonial offerings to enrich the spirits and so forth and keep them pleased. We also encourage families to come out and bring food and be at the gravesite and leave those offerings. Bring your kites out, enjoy. We're busy right now cleaning the cemetery up, getting rid of all the dead flowers and planting all the new spring flowers, and we want people to come out.
Everything refreshed.
Everything's refreshed, and while the cemetery does not need to be a depressing place to come, where else can you come and be with your ancestors?
Of course.
And they know you're there. They sense you, the incense, the candles, the children playing, and it's a good time for families to start thinking about where do we want to be together?
Yeah, it actually makes it easier on the transition.
Yes.
Because when your loved one passed away, you know, you want to make sure that they're in a good place And that's also why sometimes people burn incense. People burn incense and people burn those paper dolls and they burn these paper houses and stuff to make sure that they will have enough to live in the afterlife. And talk about that, Glenn. I know we were talking about this earlier. We were talking about because I was looking up, I was trying to share some of the really interesting facts with my viewers and to see what's the interesting facts about Qing Ming Festival. And one thing that's really jumped out to me is now they have so many supplies that they actually sell, in a market. And it's like these paper kits about, including the houses and including even a shop that you can buy. For example, if you want to give them something to do in their afterlife, they have like this sewing stores, they have this restaurants, and where you can actually buy for them and to burn them so that you make sure that in their afterlife they live happy and they are rich. They have this Maserati, they have phones that they can call, right? People tend to think that in their afterlife, they have the same life as what we have right now, and we provide them what they have. I think it's actually very sweet because we want to make sure that everything we have and they get to share it too.
In a culture that loses so much tradition, it's nice to see that the Asian cultures, but the Chinese, have really kept connections with their past.
Right.
And having those items that are very important it's very important. So we help to offer those to families when they come that week. So when they come by Easter and they visit during Qing Ming, if they come by the office, we'll help them with a little cleaning kit so they can clean the markers. We'll give them a little burn some items that they can burn. We also have burn cans available.
Nice.
So if they don't have their own, we'll provide them with one, so it's safe. And then if families bring their own items, please do. And we're very respectful and understand not to remove those items until the proper time. So
I see. And I heard you also have like a food offering at the end of the festival, right?
Correct. When the monks are completed, of course, we've nourished our mind and our spirit, and nothing's more nourishing, obviously, than a little bit of food. So we want to be able to share that time. And so we'll have some light fare to sit around so folks can visit and obviously share in some good fellowship. And if they want to take any of those items over to the grave sites, they're welcome to do that. And we just want to be there to help and answer questions and also see what we're doing. A lot of people don't get a chance to or never want to visit a cemetery, but this is the great time coming off of New Year. Now we're in the spring. It's time for us to sit and look at what we need to do to make those good decisions for our families.
Right, and talk about food. There's one story I want to share with my viewers.
Yeah.
During the period in the Qing Kingdom, there is a Chinese official named Jie Zitui who rather graphically cut his own flesh to feed a starving prince. And his name is Chong'er. And after Chong'er becomes the king, which is Jing Wengong, 大家都知道. So he remembered that he forgot to reward Jie Zitui. And when he went to Jie Zitui's house, he found it empty. So Jie had gone to the Mian mountain to hide with his mother. And Jing Wengong set a fire around the mountain to smoke the Jie Zitui out because he really wanted him to come out. But the official never appeared again. And after all the fire burned out, Jie Wengong found Jie and his mother's corpse near the willow tree. They're all gone. And in the tree hole, Jie Wengong found a letter from Jie urging him to be a good king. So then finally, Jing Wengong found he really regretted about his behavior. So he made this day into what's called a cold food day, where people are now allowed to make fires and they're only allowed to eat cold food. And this day actually is so close with the Qing Ming Festival. So then after this tradition get involved with the Asian culture and everything, now the Qing Ming Festival is actually also called the Cold Food Day. So they kind of merge together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so on that day, people tend to eat cold food, and and I think afterwards, it's like they're starting to burn incenses and burn houses instead of setting fires on that day, and which is very interesting. And so now, like for example, the tradition food, like the Tujia ethnic group, Tujiazhu, they eat pig heads. And then the Miao minority, which is the Miaozhu, they make like this type of pastry called the Qing Ming Ba, which is like made with sticky rice. And there's many people in the south of China that eat Qing Tuan, which is a dumpling made out of sticky rice and this barley grass. That's also why it looks almost like green. But in North, people eat something else. So everybody has their own traditions in China. And now, it's really not limited to anything. And that's good that we are also serving some of the light fares at the end of the festival to, to remember those ancestors that's passed away.
Yes.
So I think it will be a really cool time to come out and actually remember the ancestors and all the people out there. So Glenn, can you tell us the date and the time of your event?
Certainly. So Tuesday, April 3rd, 9 o'clock, we'll have, of course, the service project by the Vietnamese American Lions Club. But 10 o'clock sharp, we'll have the monks will start the prayer service, and that'll go to about noon.
Okay.
And he'll also go around and bless all the graves. We'll drive him around in the golf cart, and he'll bless all the graves in the cemetery, and then he'll come back and finish up. And then we'll be done by about noon and have some food, and we hope that people will stay around and visit with us and just enjoy the hopefully a beautiful spring sunny day.
Of course. So the date is, set your date on April.
It's Tuesday, April 3rd.
Tuesday, April the 3rd. And then the time we start is?
It starts at 9 o'clock if you want to come for the service project, but the service starts at 10. So
10.
We want everybody there a little early to get parking and find your way through. It's at, of course, they're on Eastern Avenue at 7600 Southeastern Avenue.
And then save your time all the way till noon.
At least noon.
And then celebrate with everybody out there.
It is. And just before that, I mentioned to you earlier, it's also just on the advent of Easter. And on that Easter Sunday, we'll also be having a sunrise service at 6:30. So you can visit our website at palmeastern.com.
palmeastern.com.
And those that would like to celebrate Easter are welcome to do that as well. But we're looking forward to having a lot of people come and visit us for Qing Ming. And hopefully, just like in many other communities throughout North America and Canada and throughout the world, that people will find that Palm Eastern is a place to come and honor and celebrate Qing Ming.
Thank you, Glenn. So before we go, let me just repeat that in Chinese for our Chinese viewers.
Certainly.
那么别忘了，在4月3号早上9点钟准时开始，然后呢，这个 celebration 会一直持续到12点钟。之后呢，我们会有一个非常轻的午餐，然后来给大家享用。那么这是一个非常明亮、非常清爽的一天，所以呢，希望你们都能够带着家人一起到这个地方来庆祝我们的清明节。Okay, so thank you for watching Life with Style with Shan and Yang, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you very much, Glenn, again for being on the show,
Thank
and
you.
I hope to be there to celebrate with you guys.
We'll see you then.
See you then.
Bye-bye.